Hello, everybody. Um, yeah, I didn't remember I had mentioned Node.js in this presentation because I feel like the imposter here. But uh, I I am a husband and a father, and I like to say that I own a computer. That's something I do, and with that computer, I do some experiments, and those experiments they are, a variety of languages, and I like to do that. And I do some with Rails, with Ruby. I really love that language. And you already know that. You can check out more about me in this QR code. That there's all my links. So get in touch. Since the last month, I am a developer relations, which means that I'm here to make connections. So genuine connections. So if you find me out there, come to say hi. And let's have a great conversation. Let's share experiences. I really love this. I'm enjoying this new role. Thanks for making it possible, my boss. He's right here in front of me. So I'm really enjoying this community. I started talking in Ruby conferences, local conferences last year. It was pretty amazing. You were so lovable, and everybody just got me a nice feeling about the whole thing that involves Rails and Ruby. So I started last year, and then I had a chance to speak at a bigger conference in São Paulo called Tropical on Rails. It was pretty amazing. I loved it. And then I tried. Let me try to go to RailsConf because it's amazing. And the last one, I'd like to feel this, and it happened. Rose is right here, and she made it possible. So I love it. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to all the organization. That I mean, I'm feeling very good to be here today. And I was a bit nervous, of course, but after some great keynote we just had, nothing can go wrong, right? Yeah. So, but I still brought my inhaler just in case. Yeah. But we're in Philadelphia, and I couldn't start without having a reference to Rocky. So I feel like Rocky having a chance to fight Creed. So because you all are awesome, and I'm just a tiny guy here, but I love it. As I said, I'm a developer relations. I work for CodeMiner 42. I have to thank them too because they made it possible for me to be here today talking to you. We are a software boutique. We are specialized in Rails, Ruby, Node.js, JavaScript, and a few things more. We have nice programs like we have a nice trainee program that get people like that are changing their careers. We help them to do this, in our company. We train them, and then we give them a job, which is amazing. We also have some strong things about open source contributions. We love this. So if you have a project and you need some help, maybe we should talk to each other. Maybe we can get some folks to help you with your project too. And we have other services that you can find out much more in our website. Just scan this QR code, and let's do great things together. Okay? We're going to talk about progressive web apps today that are amazing. I love them. Oh, I don't know how to drink water anymore. Um, but progressive web apps are just web apps that you install on the device. That's it. But of course, I like to give you some more details about it. What I think that's a good PWA, so to speak. PWAs should be installable, of course. That's the thing of PWAs. They should deliver some offline experience to your users. Also, some native APIs, which is amazing. You are in the user device, so you want to do something more than just being a website in the device. And I like to put this, but just more like a plus. That's the user engagement, because you also are in the user device. So you are closer to them, so you can get to them and increase your engagement. And some folks did this. Just some data from some companies that had PWAs, and they improved the engagement with the users. And that's all it is about, right? You are creating products, and you want to have more people using them because you are solving their problems. So PWAs can help you with that. And of course, one more thing that you should think about it when you are choosing to do PWAs is that mobile development can be tough sometimes. You know, you have that great feature, you have that great app, and you want to publish something new, a bug fix or something, but Apple says that you can't, and that's pretty bad. You know, with PWAs, you get some more freedom. That's a real example from Hey Calendar, and they faced this. But I mean, I have to give you good news that they already solved it and broke my slides. But you know, I'm happy that it worked. You know, we are getting more freedom and freedom out of those gatekeepers like Apple Store and Google Store. So that's amazing. Um, so everything starts in PWAs with PWA files. You may have heard about them already. They come by default in Rails since the version 7.2. And there are two files, but you need a little bit more to make this happen. You need what I call the platform, because you need the browser, you know, to make things happen. And I have an app for today to show you, and for that app specifically, we need some control over the client. And we'll be using Stimulus, which I find very, very nice. So let's see a really nice case scenario I just made for the talk. Let me show you. Hopefully, this is going to work. I don't think it did, actually. Oh my God. Forgot this part, actually. Let me see if I can. Okay, I can do this. Let me try to show you right here. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can, actually. Oh, yeah. I think I don't have connection, and that's very bad. Okay, okay, that's good, that's good. Got connection now. I forgot that part, but you know that's yeah, we got it. Just a nice app that I have here. I will describe it basically if it plays. I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, I think it's not gonna play it. That's bad. So maybe I can show you in the end of the talk. Not sure if anybody can help me here. So let's go back to the presentation, I think. No. Yes, it should be here, right? Let me see. Oh, it works. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Just a nice app, you know. It's a coaching app called Fermat. Did you hear that? This notification come in. There's a new resource available, so it has two views, the coaching and the student. And as you notice, I got the thing here. Let me pause it real quick. Because the thing is, this is the student view. They can see all the materials. And the great thing about this app is that they can save it to read them offline. And that's amazing, you know? So I just did that for the Kant Enlightenment. That's a nice article, nice essay. And I can see that offline. I turned off the connection. I still can see that. That's amazing. If I try the other one, I got the dragon, the dinosaur, actually. It's not a dragon. But that's I meant to do that just to show you that, I mean, only the saved ones that work. This part is the coaching view side of things, where they publish materials. Very simple too, just a form, but a title, some details, and some file. And I published this. You know how to do this, you know, some Rails controller receiving the request and saving the file. Okay? But things get better when I turn off the Wi-Fi connection. So that's the great thing here. You know, I fill the form again, just a file, as always. And the message will be a little bit different, you know. As you can see, it says that the resource was in-queued and not published, and that's a little bit different, you know, a subtle difference, but different. Then I connect again, and then it will be finally published, you know. I just didn't do nothing. I just turn on the connection again, and that's it. A very simple example, but that will give us. Okay, I can't pass anymore. Okay, it worked. That will give us, I mean, it's a nice example that will give us everything, almost everything you need to, you know, empower your application today. So let's see how we can get a regular Rails app and turn that into a native-like app. Okay, real quick. Everything starts with the Rails new, so that's my app name is Fermat, so Rails new Fermat. I create one, and these are the two files I mentioned. These are the PWA files. Technically, the PWA thing is the manifest one because it describes the whole thing about your app, how it interacts with the environment, so the name, the icons, the theme color. So if you have an app today, you put this and it will be installable. We will see that. And we have the service worker that will allow us to do all the offline experiences that we need for our app. And this can be used any ways, you don't need the manifest to use this. So people that have the Hotwire native apps can also use this, all the benefits that it brings to and of course, also the regular apps. So you get a new Rails, it will be commented out, you just remove that, and it will be available. The manifest available, the routes, and the manifest will be in your application layout. And then you see this, the install prompt will be already, visible. That little button on the right, you see that. Then when click, it will be installable. That's amazing. That's just the manifest part, and that's it for the manifest. Everything else now is the offline experience. Everything else now is the service worker, okay? And everything starts with the registration. You need to register the service worker to be able to use it. It's pretty simple, you just call some methods in the navigator service worker and you're done. And let's get to some platform stuff now that you need to your app. And the first one is the cache API. And as the name suggests, it's just caching. It's a storage that you store things, key value pairs, but it's a little bit different. You store keys as requests and values as responses. So pretty amazing and pretty useful for doing caching. And let's see how we're gonna use this. It's also pretty simple API. In the service worker, we will have this listener. I'm doing the install listener here just to do a pre-cache. So which means that when the user accesses my application for the first time, it will get all the resources I need cached, and then the next time they can use that without connection. So that's it, that's pre-caching. I then will open a bucket, I called it Fermata Sats, and then I am registering a bunch of things. So when I do an add all, I got all my resources, all my URLs, my paths, and what you do, it will make the requests, and it will save the requests and responses like a key value, and we just cache them, and that's amazing. As you can see, routes and the resources like the assets. And the second listener that we have in the service worker, and this is a famous one, it's the fetch that transforms our service worker into a proxy. So with this listener, every request that comes from your client will go through the service worker before going to the outside road. So before I get into a Rails controller or something, it will go through here. And that's amazing because with that, we can use the cached things and serve them, So we do that. You put your rules here. In this case, for example, I'm skipping everything that's not a GitHub request because I don't want that to intercept posts, for example, that usually go to a controller. I just want to serve some cached things. And I open the bucket again, and I do a match. If I found it, I just return it, and that's it. That's pretty simple to serve a cached response. But you notice there's some more code here. Of course, I'm still requesting something new because that's my decision to keep the resources up to date. So even though I have in the cache, I am still getting the new things. This is just a strategy. It's called stale while we validate, and it's up to you. Because the thing about Cache API is that it's all up to you. You decide when to update it, when to remove some stuff from it. It's all under your control. That's how it looks like in the dev tools. So very simple to see and to examine how it is. And we just reached one first milestone of our app. It will work offline, basically. The user will be able to use this to navigate. Everything will work, but not the form submission from the coach because we didn't implement that yet. And for that, we need one more API that you need to carry in your pocket, and that's an amazing one. This is also in storage that will be useful for us, because if you notice, our app, it just looks like this. It has a stimulus controller in the forums, and then when it has connection to online, it goes directly to the Rails controller. Pretty simple. You do that all day. But when it doesn't have a connection, what I do is to put into IndexedDB, that's this local storage, like the database in the browser. And then when the browser begins connection, it syncs everything. So the IndexedDB is pretty amazing. You know, it allows you to have indexes. I mean, that's a good name, by the way. You know, that speeds up your searches, and you can save blobs into that, which is also good for this app, for example, because I can save a file locally. Okay, so this is my controller, my view, pretty simple, just some data controller stuff. And this is the implementation of the controller, also pretty simple. I'm just getting form data and sending a request to an endpoint, and that's it. But if something goes wrong, I mean, I do this. You know, if it's a network error, it means that I don't have an internet connection. So I go ahead and put into a queue, and then I just tell the user, okay, I enqueued this, as you just saw. And scheduling into a queue is just saving to the IndexedDB. That's it. This API of IndexedDB, the raw API, is very hard to work with, but there are some libraries that you can use, for example, IDB, that makes it much, much simpler. Okay, and this is important because this is the background syncing stuff that allows the browser to try it again when it regains connection. And I mean, you notice a pattern here. We have one more listener that is in this case sync, and this is the listener that this function, this listener will be triggered whenever the browser has something to do. I did the registration here. The browser knows there's something to do when I regain connection, and it will do that. Okay, so it will process the queue. That basically means reading the queue and retrying all the requests again, and pretty simple. You do that all the time with Sidekick and Solid Queue, so you know that. That's how it looks like into the browser too. So the IndexedDB stuff, I have a blob, I have a file there, and pretty good. We just reached the second milestone. Now at this time, the users can submit forms when offline, and that's amazing. Okay. The last API I want to talk about is the push API. I'll be very quick with this because, since it's a plus, it's about engagement. And I already talked about it in another conference called Tropical on Rails. You should check on YouTube. I will leave some links here. And there's a nice blog about it already. I will share with you. But the thing is, it's pretty good to have push notifications because they are way better than just emails or SMSs. Users tend to interact even much more with your app if you do push notifications. Okay, so it's a very important feature if you want to engage users. Everything comes, all the things you should know is here. It's pretty complex, I'll be honest. So basically, from your browser, you create a subscription. It will go to a push server that's holding by the browsers, the major browsers like Google, Apple, and Mozilla, the browser provider. And you get some subscription details. We'll see what they are. You hold them, you store them. And then whenever you want to send a notification to a user, you go back to those details and use them to do that. On the client, you basically ask for a registration, so call just subscribe there. We'll talk about that key in a second, but it's very simple too. This is what the subscription is, an endpoint. This one's for Google, and some keys. Those keys will be useful for encrypting the message and all that cryptography stuff. Also on the client, you need to ask for permission, as you do for your app, to ask you permission to show notifications. On the service worker, guess what? More listeners. Push and notification click, but these two, they come with the default Rails, they are pretty good already. Just let you know. The push is for when notification comes in. Notification click, kind of obvious when it's clicked. So yeah, then you do what you need to do with them. On the server, you want to hold that information, subscription details, because you need that to send the notification again. Just make sure that you allow the users to have more than one, because the same users can have more than one device. Okay, so you want to also track devices, so keep that in mind. And when sending notifications and when generating the vapid keys, I mean, it's pretty hard, but this gem is pretty good. The web push, it will allow you to generate the keys, and whenever sending, you have to have those keys. So hold them at least, I mean, a pair for environment, and these keys allows the push server to know that you are you, okay? So keep them. I leave this QR code that has a really nice blog post about it. So, I mean, that's why I didn't spend much time talking about it, because this is pretty good. You know, it's from Joy of Rails. I really enjoy it. And I mean, just check it out. And there's more, of course. Just talked about 3 APIs that you should have in your pocket. You should have them, but you can do much more. You know, you can juice it. Because today browsers can do many, many things that we just sometimes are not aware of. So things like picture-in-picture, view transitions. We can do contact picker. You know, that seems pretty impressive. We can do Bluetooth, you know, a lot of things. Left one more QR code here that you can check them. And that's good, you know. The browser is pretty good. And you may be thinking, but can really the browser do that? And they say, yes, they can. Some of them, yeah. Because that's the thing. And in that moment, you may be thinking, okay, this guy is lying to me in front of me, my face. But yeah, what's the freedom they are just talking about in the beginning of the talk? The thing is that we still depend on the browser, you know? The browser is our platform for doing things. And if the browser doesn't do an API, we can't do much about it. And to show you some example of this, I have this keyboard. It's a nice keyboard, by the way. It's called Moonlander. I love it. And in the Moonlander, you have the layout. You can change it. You can compile it and save directly to the keyboard from the browser. If I'm not wrong, they are doing some web USB API to allow this. Pretty good. It works in Google Chrome. Yeah, when it comes to Safari, what they do is download it. That's your fault. And the thing is that, I mean, that's the best we can do, you know? Of course, we can do some workarounds to make some stuff to work, like the background syncing stuff I just mentioned a little bit. It technically works only in Chrome, but you can make it work in all the browsers too, you know? Just do some polyfill stuff and it works. But some just don't. In this case, I mean, just let the user know that you could have a better experience if you were using this other browser, and that's it. We do, I mean, our best. And I know that you were thinking, okay, that's too much JavaScript, but you know, you're not like this anymore, because you are the Renaissance developers, you know, so you can do this. I really believe you can do it because you are smart guys. There's something I'm jealous about the Rails community is that you have the best ecosystem, you have the best tools to make your job. And that's amazing. That's why I love it, you know. And you, of course, can handle it. Actually, there are some people working on it. This little guy here looks like he's working on something. I don't know. But his idea is to compress the complexity of the actual notifier, you know? So, I mean, it's being there. I think that would be pretty good because the notification, I mean, it's a little bit complex, you know? So, yeah, that's bad. And for the other things that we just saw, the whole JavaScript things, the whole listeners, I mean, they are all patterns. If you do it in one app, you do the same in another app. That's true, you know? And for those patterns, we have this tool already. That's called Workbox, you know? And the Workbox got all those patterns and make it possible for us to use them. So let me show you how that code we had would be with Workbox. Remember the precaching stuff? It would be just like this. Much simpler, right? Just got a package, and you know, we did it. The fast thing that we need to do, the whole strategy of caching, it becomes just this. Okay, so much simpler. Now we have a callback to match the routes and everything, and we have a new object to handle the strategy. And you can have as many strategies as you want. You know, can use any one. And then for the caching stuff, you have everything to deal with the life of the cache, and you know, it's a pretty good tool that you can use. But you are the Renaissance developers, and you can do much better. We can do much better, you know. That's because Rails allows you to do stuff that is, I have that tool, and I like the way it is, but I'd like to be more Rails, and we can do that. And I love this tool that it's called generators, because we can bring all that thing into Rails and just use like it was some Rails commands. I love it. And I've been experimenting with this. Um, that doesn't have a name. It's called PWA builders so far. It has just 2 commands, but it allows us to bring Workbox into a Rails application to make it even simpler. So when installing the thing, when installing the Workbox, it will do some initializations. It will bring Workbox if you want to vendorize it, and it will do. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a quick starter for your service worker. I was playing with it. That's pretty good. And I love this command. When running the precache some route, you just can keep putting routes on it. Of course, it's still an experiment I've been working on. But hopefully, I'll be able to make it a gem so everybody can use it. I love Rails generators, and it's been an amazing experience to work with that. At Code 42, we are doing some effort on it. So I hope to bring more folks to work on some tools for us, to make all this simpler. And I've been writing about it in the Code Miners blog. You can check it out. It's a whole series, everything you need to is PWAs. It has 3 articles so far, but I'm pretty sure we need a little bit more because there are some gaps to fill yet. So, if you think something should be covered, just let me know too. And the final message is the same we got from the fireside chat with DHH. You need to go compress the complexity. That's what I love in the Rails community, in the Ruby community. I am very happy to be here. It was pretty amazing. I am, afraid that I want to be speaking at the RailsConf next year. That's the that's the last one. But it was pretty amazing, a good experience. I'd like to say thank you all for everything. Thank you all for being here today because I wasn't expecting that amount of people, So thanks for that. And Jose is in front of me. I was very nervous. And I just want to say that. Thank you, everybody.